All right, college football season is among us. Week 0, we got a little taste. As Paul Pierce would say, we got a little taste, but now we want the full load. Week 1, huge slate coming up this weekend. Joining me, as always, Ben Pound and Matt Ferry here on Chuck's Chat YouTube. Fellas, how great does it feel to be back?
Feels pretty damn good. I've been waiting for this week my whole life.
So, yeah, he said it best. About damn time.
Ferry, what a jersey. Who is that? Is that a specific?
Yes,
player?
It's a little Pat White action. 4-0 in bowls. There's a Hall of Fame quarterback who's also done that, Philip Rivers, but he's the only other one. Pat White.
Is that a Cooper Cup jersey?
No.
Oh, okay.
Was Tavon Austin 5 or was he 1?
He's number 1.
Oh, wait, Cooper Cup didn't even go there.
Yeah,
Did he?
No, he did not.
Oh,
You're thinking of David
the other
Sills.
white guy.
David Sills, he was more
Yeah.
recent, but
That's what I'm thinking of.
he was the next.
Wasn't he a quarterback?
He was that famous 5-star 12-year-old quarterback who committed to USC, then decommitted like junior senior year. He had a lot of issues going on in his personal life.
West Virginia took him.
And then West Virginia took him in as a receiver, and he left and came back, and left and came back. Yeah, he's a mess, but he was great for us.
Yeah, at least it worked out. Yeah, for him,
Kind of.
Yeah, it could have been worse than playing wide receiver in the Big 12.
That is very true.
So, wanted to get it started here. Starting with you, Ferry, would like to hear your college football playoff and whatever futures you may have.
Of course. I wanted to differ a little bit. I tried to, but I just couldn't. The most differences I could. I mean, I wanted Bama. I wanted to find a reason to put Bama in there, and I couldn't. I mean, their schedule's tough. So my number 1, I'm gonna go with Ohio State. I think they just run the Big Ten. I know there's always that chance that they have that one blunder game that they just lose for whatever reason. But their schedule doesn't seem that crazy. I mean, yeah, they have Oregon week 2. They have at Indiana. But other than that, I mean, they have Penn State at home, and then Michigan's not, relevant. Number 2, I've got Clemson. I mean, for just obvious reasons. I mean, they're Clemson. Number 3, I got Oklahoma with Rattler. Obviously, all the hype around him and Heisman talk for yet another Oklahoma quarterback. And then number 4, I've got Georgia. I was a little torn if I should have Oklahoma or Georgia. It switched at 3 or 4, but I went with I don't know. I don't know what the committee's going to think, if they want the rematch of Clemson Georgia in the first round of the playoffs or to have it potentially get lead up in the championship. So I just went with that because I think Oklahoma might run the table through the Big 12, and then they might lose at OK State that last game of the year. You never know what happens at Bedlam. But yeah, and then I get some futures. I confirmed placed Oklahoma plus 800 for the championship. That just those odds are pretty good. I took Georgia to win the SEC at plus 190. But some other ones I kind of like that I'm probably going to take. I like Wisconsin to win the Big Ten West at minus 125. And then I also like Iowa State over 9.5. I just don't see them losing more than 2 games. That's at minus 110 as well. I also like them at minus 135 to win the Big 12 championship. Just some hedging against Oklahoma a little bit.
Yeah, I like that over for Ohio. Their Iowa State wins a lot. That's a good. I might take that now.
Pat Campbell's the real
might
deal.
add it.
Add it to my card as well.
Yeah, I might add that to my card. Ben, you are a little light on futures. Would have liked to hear your one future as well as your college football playoff.
Yeah, so I haven't really thought about either too much, to be honest. College football playoffs, I thought I'd just go gut instinct right now. Off the top of my head, I would go Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Bama.
In that order?
All right.
Yes, in that order.
Where does Oklahoma stumble?
Everywhere. That candy ass program, only scores points, doesn't know how to play football, and their quarterback, don't trust him. Can't put him in my top 4.
All right. And
They might not even beat Muffman's Mountaineers.
Hey, it's in Norman, so I mean, we'll see.
Future-wise, I took my usual every Pitt future. So Pitt ACC champion, Pitt over wins. I hate Pitt over wins. I'm happy to get around the conference championships. I know I will be taking Wisconsin as well to win.
You don't think they're going to win 7 games?
I said I like it a lot.
Oh, I thought you said I don't like Pitt.
I think they win 8 games.
Is Narduzzi on the hot seat if he doesn't get bowl eligible?
No.
He should be able to recruit a lot better than he does.
Agreed.
Probably, yeah. That's for another time. But we had I think the 5th most people drafted this year in the NFL by college, I think.
If that's true, that's very impressive. It's like
me.
behind the 4. It's behind probably Alabama. I know Notre Dame was 2nd, I think.
But future-wise, I'm with Ferry, Wisconsin, to win the whatever the hell it's called. Oregon to win the Pac-12 is probably smart. I might take that. UAB.
Do you have any odds here?
No, I'm just naming the teams I think will win. I don't know the odds. I only know the games on Saturday and Friday and Thursday.
Okay.
I don't like to do futures that often unless I really understand the team. And I know my Jimmys and Joes, but I can't put my money there. Just maybe some mid-season futures coming out of me.
Gotcha. When you get a real feel for the flow of the season.
Yeah, that's when the sharps come out.
I like it. All right, so my futures, I have Northwestern under 6 wins at plus 100. Western Michigan plus 1,200 to win the MAC. I think that they have a very strong team in the MAC. They got to the doorstep of the MAC championship last year, or the past 2 years.
What school is this?
There, Western Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Upset alert week 1. We'll get there. Possibly. We'll get there. I'm sorry.
The Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajun plus 175 to win the Sun Belt.
Good
we'll get there too with them this week. Pitt over 7 wins minus 140. I got hosed placing some of these futures too early. I got Georgia plus 500 to win the national championship and Oklahoma plus 650. So Ferry got way better value than I did on the Oklahoma piece. Washington over 9 wins. I think they're very sneaky. I don't even think you can do to make college football playoff, but if you could, I think Washington's a very sneaky, could possibly go undefeated type of team. So I think over 9 wins. I don't think they would be 9-3. They have a test at Michigan, and then they play Oregon at home. All their toughest games are at home in conference, and Washington's one of those tough places to play in the Pac-12. And then Notre Dame plus 100 over 9 wins is my last future. So got a lot of hopefully some bonus checks coming in around the Rose Bowl, so that when I lose the Rose Bowl in spectacular fashion, it won't hurt as much.
Can I make my prediction for the Rose Bowl game right now?
Yes, I would love that.
I think, even though I'm picking Wisconsin, I'm going to say Iowa versus Washington, and I will be betting Washington. And that
would be a glorious color game.
Yes, it would.
Little black and purple. Oh, yeah. Continue.
All right, so moving on into the big games of the week. We sent you guys this earlier. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. It was just so how I just picked the 5 ranked versus ranked matchups. First, we'll start up at Camp Randall, Penn State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin minus 5.5. Over under is 50. Ferry, you will lead us off. What do you think about this game?
I don't like it. I don't know if there's some personal bias because I have strong dislike for Penn State, but I don't like the lines for this game. So if I had to pick anything, just because of the formula, I would have to take the under of 50 is it? I don't like the spread. I don't want to touch those spreads. But if I had to take anything, I'm taking under 50 with them because I think I mean, I think Penn State stinks, and I think they're frauds, and then I think Wisconsin, they're just the definition of mediocre.
You picked them to win the division.
Well, because the whole division's below mediocre. All the good Big Ten teams are in the other division. There's no one good in that division.
It's in Iowa.
Yeah, isn't Iowa?
Yeah. Well, okay. When I say Wisconsin's mediocre, I mean in terms of the top 25. Like they're they're top 20. Like they're legit top 20 team, but they're not top 10. Like they're just that team in the middle there.
Okay, I'm the complete opposite of you, Ferry. I love Wisconsin -5.5. I think they're going to kick the shit out of Penn State. Fair. Or State Penn, I should call them. State Penn, sorry. Sorry, Sean Clifford, your ass.
Any thoughts on their quarterback, Chuck? What's his name? Graham Mertz?
Graham Mertz. I love Graham Mertz. He had the weird COVID thing happen to him last year, where in the Big Ten, I think you had to miss a month.
Yep.
So he tore it up against Illinois.
That's right.
And then was out for like a month. They beat Michigan. They killed Michigan at Michigan, and then they just like shit the bed the rest of the season. I'm thinking a little more continuity. I kind of like the under, but I think I'm just going to stick with the Wisconsin -5.5. Mostly because I just don't think Sean Clifford's very good at all. And first home game back for Wisconsin with the crowd. I think we might see a little bit of that this week where teams are it's like a little different atmosphere. And we'll get to it with Iowa, Indiana, because I think that's one of those games as well. I do have Wisconsin on the card for the week too. -5.5.
I like it.
Second game, Indiana at Iowa. Iowa's -3.5, over under 45.5. Ben, what do you think?
Love Iowa. It's at Iowa, so they'll have a reason to play. They'll have little kids watching them. Some stories up. I think Indiana had like the 1 year, like every couple of years, I feel like every Power 5 mediocre team steps up and like becomes a top 10 team for a year and then kind of dissipates. I don't think Indiana's very good at all. I think Iowa wins by 2 scores.
Well, I have the opposite pick. I got Indiana +3. I don't usually like betting against the kids. I don't, but it's not a night game, all right? So it's not as strong.
Yeah, I think it's a 3 p.m. So it gets a little might get a little weird there when the sun starts to set. I don't know.
Yeah, daylight savings hasn't kicked in yet, so daylight savings has not kicked in yet. So we'll see. But I love Tom Allen. I think he makes me want to just run through a wall. So I love them +3, and I don't see anything sticking out against that Iowa has. Like Iowa just seems. I think they seem a little less than they usually are. Like they're usually that 9-3, 8-4 team. I think they're a 7-5 team this year.
Yeah, I'm with Ben on this one. I have Iowa -3.5. I don't like the non-football number thing, but I don't think it's really going to come back to haunt us, Ben. I do like the thing with Indiana. I think you said it. That where we kind of differ with Ferries. I don't think Indiana is as good as they were last year. I know they, quarterback's back and everything like that, but it's different when you have to play in front of these college football atmospheres that, it's really a game changer. We see it all the time. And I think this is going to be a real slugfest. I kind of like the under, but I have to get my brain to wrap around a 45.5 in college football is like a 39 in the NFL, where you're just going to be clenching your ass the entire game, and I don't want to do that. While I have a 20-play card going on, I kind of just want to see who wins the game. So I'm just going to go Iowa -3.5. I think they do have a real chance to get to the Rose Bowl, which would be awesome. I love rooting for Iowa. So the next game, ABC. Neutral site, Alabama versus Miami. New look at Alabama. Bryce Young, who inked a $1 million NIL deal without even starting a game in college football, taking on De'Aaron King, very experienced quarterback at Miami. Miami ranks 14th in the country this year. Is the U back? Alabama -19.5, over under 61. Ferry.
Yep, I got Bama minus 19.5. Just don't think about it. I don't think I think it's just one of those plug and plays. I mean, yes, Miami's got Perry Ellis at quarterback, but Bama's got minus 19.5. I'm taking that every day of the week.
I think this line is going to go down more and more as the game goes nearer. I love Miami to cover this spread. Love them.
Interesting.
They have the more experienced quarterback. I don't think they're going to win by any means, but I do not think they get blown away. I think they lose by 10. So Miami plus 19.5, I think, is a very good bet. Sorry to differ from Ferry, but seems to be the trend.
It does.
This has been good so far. You guys have both differed on each of the picks, and then I come in and break the tie. I'm with you on this one, Ferry. That you don't get rich betting against Nick Saban, and he always finds a way to motivate his teams. It's going to be this year. It's going to be the past 2 years. I was about to say graduated. The past 2 years, a bunch of guys left for the NFL. Or can you guys step in and fill that? And they will. Maybe not to the same. They're not going to have an all-star team trotting out there, but Bryce Young was a 5-star recruit at quarterback and almost beat out Mac Jones a year ago, who went on to have the highest completion percentage in the history of college football. Bryce Young can play. I'm very excited to see him this year. And Miami, every big game that they're in, they come up short. And, I'm just thinking about Clemson last year. Last year was supposed to be the team that was the U's back, and then they just got shellacked against Clemson. And Bama is kind of on that this year's Bama is kind of on that same level of last year's Clemson. And they very talented and should just take care of Miami. I think too much is made. Derek King's very good, and he's good for the ACC, but he's not. He can't do it all against Alabama. So Alabama minus 19.5. I don't want to touch the total in that game. Next game, Louisiana Lafayette plus 8.5 in Austin against Texas. Steve Sarkisian, first game back as a head coach, and a freshman quarterback starting for the Longhorns. I think it's fitting that we start with the leader of the Big 12 in the Northeast, Matt Ferry, on this one.
Of course. Always got to rep the dying Big 12, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but
do you want to get into that at all while we're here?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well. I mean, I'll touch my bias of it quickly, and then I'll give some real stuff. I hate to see West Virginia leave another. Their basketball team takes a hit from another great basketball conference because of football. They get screwed over once again. But nonetheless, they need to get the hell out of there. I mean, if they can go to Big Ten, that'd be ideal. Would love to see Penn State, which was West Virginia in my time. That would be phenomenal. But realistically speaking, you should go to the ACC. You have Pitt, backyard brawl. You've got Louisville, Syracuse, old Big East rivals for football as well. But in all, I mean, I don't see how the conference can stay afloat. The Big Get is talking BYU. I mean, I don't see why BYU would want to do that. Well, I guess I could, but I think that the league's just going to fall apart. I don't know what's going to happen with those other three between the Big Ten, Pac-12, is it the ACC that all three of them did that? Do they all just kind of trickle in there somehow? I don't know. I think it sucks to see teams like TCU and Iowa State, they kind of get screwed over. I mean, Iowa State should go to the Big Ten, have Iowa State. That's great. I think that's a great rival every year. But
I think they play this year too.
They usually do play almost every year, and it's always a great game. It doesn't matter how good each team is. Matt Campbell, he gets me fired up. Even and that's one of the games that weekend that we're in Detroit, that Iowa State's in Morgantown. I'm going to be on my edge of my seat that weekend. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so Lafayette, Texas.
But yeah, of course, back to the actual game. I don't like the spread. I mean, I know we discussed off air the spread just moving. That got split in half. I mean, I don't like -8 for any kind of spreads. So if it can fall to 7, that's a pick that I'm not showing in right now. But if it can fall to 7 by Saturday, I'm going to be taking them Texas -7. But if it stays at 7.5, 8, I'm just going to stay away from it in all.
Ben?
Hook 'em, baby. I think it's a 10-point game. I think this is like a real, like, you get like sweat dripping down your balls because you're so nervous about they're gonna cover. Shout out to the Raging Cajuns though. They are a great team. They remind me a lot of UCF, but smaller. I just think Sarkisian's gonna be a really good coach at Texas. And I think I'll have the boys ready to play. Hook 'em.
I love Louisiana Lafayette. I may take them money line this week. Louisiana Lafayette, they returned 19 starters. This from last year's team that went into Iowa State and beat Iowa State week 1. They killed them. It was like 35-14 or whatever it was. And everyone was like, "Oh, Iowa State stinks," and they ended up being, very good. Now they've returned everyone, and they're ranked 6th or whatever. Levi Lewis, veteran quarterback for them. Louisiana Lafayette. They're not going to be scared of Texas. They've been waiting for this game. And Texas, the past couple years, they had Sam Ehlinger and weren't like good enough to win the Big 12. Like I think they got to the Big 12 championship 2 or 3 years ago. Ehlinger, his first year that he started against Kyler Murray, I think he was.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but they have a very good chance to win this game. But yeah, so the point of that was Texas now starting a freshman. Are they going to be that much better? Like, he's not going to be better than Sam Ehlinger starting out. This is a great spot for Louisiana Lafayette. Love them plus 8.5. I wish I jumped in when it was like plus 16. That would have been easy. But yeah, love Louisiana Lafayette. They're a very good team. They deserve their ranking. Their only loss last year was to Coastal Carolina by 3 points. Very, very good team. So yeah, it's one of my favorite plays of the week, Louisiana Lafayette.
I like it.
The last big game, College Game Day in Charlotte, North Carolina, Georgia, Clemson, neutral site. Clemson is -3, over under 50.5. ACC representative of the Northeast, Ben Pound. Do you think your guys who could not win the regular season championship in the ACC, because Notre Dame won it, do you think they could take care of Georgia this weekend?
I think these are the two best teams in the nation. I'm going to lean Clemson because I'm an ACC man. I think they have the better quarterback, so that makes me more comfortable taking it. So I think Clemson wins in a close, touchdown game. As the defending ACC champions should.
Fair.
It's just a coin flip. I mean, I'd be going back and forth. I think on my sheet I have Georgia +3, maybe even money line, but I don't love it. I think anyone could easily say it could go either way. Obviously, these are two top dogs, but no pun intended. But I think Georgia +3 is going to be my pick.
I wasn't even thinking that until you said no pun intended.
I don't love it, but I'm going to take it because it's a big game. Like, you cannot not be a fan of this sport and not take something in that kind of high level, high stake game right to kick off the season. Like, I'm just going to take Georgia +3 most likely. Maybe I change my mind come 7 o'clock, but Saturday. But right now, +3 Georgia.
I gotta agree with you. Yeah, I've got to agree with you, Ferry. Georgia +3. I think Georgia wins the national championship this year. I think this is their year. Clemson, I love DJ Uiagalelei. I think he could be like the best of the Clemson quarterbacks. Like, if you go Watson, Lawrence, and then him, he showed me so much last year against Notre Dame, and then against and Taj Boyd. He showed me so much last year. I think he carries it into this year. I'm a little concerned with, they had Lawrence and Travis Etienne and lost like 46-20 to Ohio State. Like, are they at that level where they can beat a Georgia who is locked and loaded on this season? Like, they, in my opinion, should be the favorites in the SEC. Huge game for Georgia. JT Daniels, they haven't lost since JT Daniels has starting for them. Beat a very good Cincinnati team in the Sugar Bowl. I really like Georgia +3 in this game. And then on the flip side, like, why I could see, why people would like Clemson. Like, this is their Super Bowl. Like, they don't play anyone the rest of the year except for Pitt.
Bro,
Like their
you're not
schedule's
wrong.
so easy all year.
Did you play
They
Pitt?
don't get enough shit nationally for how easy their schedule is year in and year out. And this is really their only test all year, so they should be able to walk to. Even no matter what happens, they should be able to walk into the college football playoff. But I'll go Georgia +3 on Saturday night. So that's the end of the big games. Whoever wants to start off with your cards, how many games you got, and then run through them.
Doesn't matter to me, Ben.
I can go first. I'll just run through all these picks really quick. I might repeat the games because I just have them listed in the order they happen when I make my list this morning.
Give a little analysis of why you like each pick.
I'll do a little quick couple second snippet. But
Yeah.
First, I got UFC -5 versus Boise State. I just think UFC or UCF, UFC, whichever one it is an actual football program. Boise State used to be a football program, but now they've kind of disintegrated to a top tier Mountain West team. Next up, I got App State -10 in the Duke Mayo Classic versus East Carolina. App State is the new UCF. They just kick the shit out of anybody they play. They're always 22nd in the nation and have only lost one game because they play nobody. And they just beat up on all those little schools like East Carolina. Next up, I got Ohio State first half and game versus Minnesota. I believe they're -14 on the game, assuming they're -7 first half. I'm going to take first half no matter what it is because Minnesota's not very good anymore. They lost, I think, everybody outside of their quarterback from the team 2 years ago that kind of hopped onto the scene by beating Penn State and somebody else, I think. But Ohio State will be back this year. Love this game. UNC -5.5 beat Tech. UNC's got top 5 quarterback in the nation. Always bet quarterbacks. Michigan State +5 versus Northwestern. I think Northwestern takes a fall this year after having a very successful season last year. Oklahoma -31 versus Tulane. I think they just kicked the shit out of them in standard Oklahoma fashion. I'm also going to take the over 69. Shout out Ferry. Already said Wisconsin -5.5 for State Penn. Also going to throw Kentucky -31 against UL Monroe. I like Kentucky's quarterback. He probably should be starting at State Penn, but they chose Sean Clifford over him. So now he's at Kentucky, which is an actual good school in the recent years. Army +2 versus Georgia State. Enough said. Miami +9.5. That was already said. Cincy -22 versus Miami, Ohio. This is Cincy's year. I think they're going to try to just beat the shit out of everybody and go undefeated, trying to make the college football playoff. Iowa -3 versus Indiana. Navy +2.5 versus Marshall. Obvious. Ferry Mountaineers, Maryland, over 57. I don't even know how to read that game, but I love everything about the game. Pitt first half versus UMass. I think they're -38 on the game. That is an insanely big number. I don't know if they'll be in it in the second half. So I'm just going to stick first half.
-24. That's also on my card.
Texas -8. I said already. San Jose State +14 versus USC. Love this pick. I will also be picking the money line. I know USC has a good quarterback, but San Jose State, I watched them. I know they played a shit team, but they're very good, and they were very good last year. Clemson -3. I'm also going to take the over in that game. I didn't mention it earlier. Over 51. Seems like when two big teams play each other, usually they score 36 to 30. UCLA +3 versus LSU. I'm also going to be taking them outright. I like UCLA a lot this year. Chip Kelly's back on the scene. I'm taking Hawaii on the island. I don't even know what the spread is. They play Portland State, I believe, but they're on the island for the first game. The Polynesians are going to be out in the crowd supporting. And Notre Dame, Florida State, under 56. That game seems terrible. And then Ole Miss -10 on Monday against Louisville. Because I like their quarterback, and they played well at the end of the season last year.
Very nice. I mean, as expected, we're going to have some differing picks. I heard some similar ones, but I'm going to touch upon I just want to say this. I'm not touching the game because it's not worth my time or money. The records versus Temple, just too trash. Like that's just Philly trash versus Jersey trash. I mean that's at its finest. That's a waste of anyone's time, money, anything. To go on similar to your point, I agree. I mean,
Shout out
Boise
that game.
State, yeah, but and that's on Thursday. Jesus. Boise State, UCF. I think both programs peaked. I know you guys said something similar. Game is meaningless to me. Bowling Green, Tennessee. Bowling Green is a complete disgrace of a MAC team to me. They might be one of the worst teams I've ever watched football last year, ever. But the thing was, Tuesday, Wednesday nights get a little itchy, and they burned me too many times. But the thing is, Tennessee is Tennessee. Everyone knows what they do. Like anything can happen in this game. Therefore, not touching that one as well. Another stinker, Michigan State, Northwestern. The total being 45. Typical Big Ten snooze fest of just painful. It's a painful game to watch. Could easily see like a 17-13 game there. Coastal Carolina, they burned me pretty badly last year as well, but I'm willing to forgive them this year. I'm being nice this year for some teams. But I guess to my first picks for them Thursday, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ohio State first half -7.5 and -14 full game. Those are definitely two locked in picks for me. I want to touch upon Arizona State. I think they're going to struggle in terms of gambling reasonings. I don't think everything going on off field with Herm Edwards. I think he can rally them to have a fair season for them. But if I had money on him, no, definitely not. This is where you and I will be differing, Ben. I love Virginia Tech plus 5.5. I mean, all I got to say is Enter Sandman. I mean, I cannot wait to see that back on a Friday night. Virginia Tech's campus is back. Oh my God. I'm going to take the home team every time. Despite, yes, they have a great quarterback at UNC. Moving on to Saturday, lock it in. West Virginia -2.5, 3.5, whatever it is. I'm not even going to get into it. I mean, I like that you said that it's a great matchup. It is a fun matchup. Whenever those
No, it's a great matchup. I just am obsessed with the game after I saw it.
Yeah, no, they play a lot. I've seen them play a lot.
I don't know what to think about it.
And
I have no idea.
It's fun. They're usually fun. I mean, my lasting memory of that matchup is Stephon Diggs when he was on Maryland burned us. I mean, ripped us. He had like 3 touchdown game. It was at M&T Stadium. Brutal start to the season for us. That whatever year that was, 2016, whatever. I said I like the under in Penn State, Wisconsin. The West Michigan total of 67. I think that's laughable. That's disgusting. No Big Ten team involved in anything should have total that high. So, I mean, I would take the under just because, I mean, I understand Western Michigan might score, but still, it's MAC school versus Big Ten, and Michigan stinks, so they're not putting up the points either. I'll wait for that one pick because that's going to be, are we doing locks now, or like part of this, or at the end?
Yeah, we can do it at the end.
Okay, I'll leave this one game till then. I like the under 64 in Oregon Fresno State 11 a.m. kickoff. I think Fresno State obviously put up some points last week, and Oregon can put up points, but I don't know. 64 seems like a lot. 11-8. Those weird start times out west, I feel like they get weird. I already said Bama -19.5. I know you love Cincy, Chuck, but I'm going to stay away. In-state games are kind of, I know, can be tough despite Cincy being a legit school this year. It's still not a Power 5 school, so I get a little scared. Indiana +3, I already said. Out of respect to my colleague, I will take Pitt -38, just out of respect. And plus UMass is UMass. Liberty versus Campbell. I love Hugh Freeze. I think he's still a wagon this year, I assume.
I think I missed that game on my card.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I had minus whatever on my card.
I said as long as it's less than 3.5 touchdowns,
I'm with it.
Yeah,
that is also on my card.
I love the over 64 in the Texas Tech Houston game. It just screams like old-fashioned Big 12, even though Houston's not. Dana Holgerson, I know a thing or two about Dana Holgerson. if I know it, there are going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I love over 64. Same thing with this game. Iowa State, Northern Iowa. Don't know. Couldn't find a spread on it. Campbell's going to kick the hell out of this team. It's a revenge game from 2 years ago. Iowa State. I don't even know if it's home or away. Doesn't matter. Spread. Iowa State's going to take care of it, despite them always having early struggles with Matt Campbell for whatever reason. But this year's different. The USC San Jose State game. I like over 59.5, but I don't love it. But I might take it depending on how the day is going. And I know Chuck kind of gave me some good analysis last week with San Jose State that I feel like they can maybe score. Don't love. I already said Georgia +3. Staying away from the Florida FAU game. I feel like those games can get kind of weird beginning of the year for FAU before they start stinking.
Rivalry.
Yeah, the in-state, again, some of those get a little dicey early this season. A&M spread was too big. While I have A&M up, I forgot to mention about the futures. I like them at 9.5 at +110. They had 9.5 win total for plus money. I'm like, if they go 10-2, I think that's a legit, reasonable goal. The opposite fade you, Ben. I know Chip Kelly's got a visor now. I know that it's back, but UCLA cannot have 2 fans there again. All right, that's not going to do it. I think LSU comes back after having a rough year last year. I love LSU -3. Then Sunday, Notre Dame spread is, I think, an easy pick, but I won't do it because I have some respect for myself because I can't profit off of a team like that.
Agreed.
Yeah, there it is, Chuck, of course.
I won't bet on a Notre Dame game spread until they change the mascot because I find it insensitive.
It's offensive, yes, to the
I'm
Irish
taking
people.
a stand.
I would say I miss, but don't miss at the same time. Hearing boop boop every single morning, hearing Chuck hit the play like a champion side. But I think Florida State stinks. I mean, unless they do something, I don't see them changing. And Notre Dame is legitimately good. I hate to say it, but I just won't profit off of it. Then of course, out of tradition, I will be taking Hawaii, whatever the spread is. Obviously, that's just out of respect for the game. Unless
on the islands, obviously.
Unless I get some bank email saying, "Hey, what the hell's going on today?" I will be taking Hawaii spread.
All I know is they played Portland State. I think
that would be correct.
They haven't released the spread.
And I know that I've been talking a lot. So my last pick. It's a new week after this. Monday Night Football. Ole Miss, Louisville. Starting fresh, doesn't matter how bad Saturday might have been, but over 75.5, that is fun. That's a fun pick.
That's a fun Monday night.
That's a fun Monday night to start the week, forgetting about how bad Saturday was. Oh yeah, and Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to put up points this year. They don't know what they look like. Big 12 on steroids. So over 75.5, lock that in.
All right. Tomorrow night, Rutgers -14.5. I think Greg Schiano is a very good coach. He's turning the program around. I think Temple sucks, so I think Rutgers taking that game there. Rutgers returns 21 starters, so that's continuity from the team last year. It was a little frisky in some games. Rutgers played some guys pretty tough. Also tomorrow night, Ohio State, first half -7.5 and -14. Very excited to see C.J. Stroud play. Western Michigan +17 at Michigan. Little Michigan might be in a little look ahead. They have Washington coming there next week. I think, the 11th, Washington's going to Michigan. And I don't think Michigan should be a 17-point favorite against anybody in the country. Western Michigan, 19 starters coming back. Like them a lot there. Alabama -19.5. Pitt, first half, -24. I don't like taking spreads that big for full game. 38 just seems like if they
Last time it was that big, though. You know what happens. They waved the white
I just
flag.
always get concerned with one that and then just being up like 35-0 and then just taking their foot off the gas and being like, fuck this.
And then a certain quarterback comes in.
Park the bus per se. Yeah. Louisiana
backup can't
Lafayette
play.
+8.5. Louisiana Lafayette +8.5. Liberty -20.5 versus Campbell. I love Malik Willis. for Liberty. The Georgia +3, Ole Miss -10.5. I like the Ole Miss team total over, which is not out yet, but whatever it is, I'm probably going to take it. I think I could see them getting into the fifth. I think Louisville stinks, and Matt Corral is apparently this, up and coming, could rise in the draft type of guy. Oklahoma first half -18.5, and Oklahoma full game -31.5. I have Alabama on here twice accidentally. That's how much I like them apparently. Over 59.5 San Jose State USC. Over 64 Oregon Fresno State. I like that Fresno State played last week, so maybe they shook the cobwebs out. I think they can score against anybody. Could see them getting to 21-28, and with the spread being 21, that's just like a math thing. Like it's gonna have to go over. I think that math works out. And Iowa -3.5. Locks of the week. Ferry.
Yes. It's a stinker. It really is. Kansas State, Stanford, under 53. I think both teams stink. I mean, stink. I love it. I love it. And yes, usually when I love a pick this much, I will fade it. But I'm trying to wait to do that till at least week 3. I gotta.
What was the team? Stanford versus who?
Kansas State.
Okay.
Yep, under 53. Usually I will fade myself when I love a pick that much, but again, I don't want to resort to that till at least week 3 when I'm down a billion units. That's my lock of the week.
Ben, what is your lock of the week?
Got 2.
Wow.
First one, love this one. I don't think anybody's even seen this game. We haven't even talked about it. I know they just beat the shit out of Nebraska, who is a laughingstock, but Illinois is only a 5-point favorite against UTSA. I'm taking them. I'm hammering that. I believe in Illinois. We're back. Shout out Dan Williams, greatest Illinois guy ever, probably. I assume.
I like that
They don't
fine.
accomplish much.
Is that a Thursday night game or Friday?
I think it's Saturday.
Okay, I just didn't remember seeing it. But I love the fine.
Yeah, it's Saturday. I'm also going to be taking the over in Kansas State, Stanford. I love that over. 2 dog shit programs.
Wow.
Not going to be able to tackle anybody.
Wow, we got some tension here.
Did you just come up with that on the spot after Ferry said that?
No, I saw that after the Illinois one yesterday morning.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Unconfirmed.
And then for me, I have Cincinnati -22.5 full game. I also have Cincinnati first half -13. They're it's the Luke Fickell revenge tour. They're gonna kick the shit out of everyone, and then hopefully they can beat Indiana, and we'll have a undefeated showdown in South Bend with basically college football playoff spot on the line, early October. That would be awesome.
Hopefully.
All right. So that is the first episode. Long season ahead of us. I think we're going to see a lot of winners this year, fellas.
Hopefully.
Well, Fair and I have the opposite picks, so probably
Yeah.
not.
Oh wait, I did forget to say
Yeah,
Oklahoma. I did like Oklahoma. I do have them locked in as a pick. Not
You
a
can add it
lock,
to your
but
card. Chuck
I-
or Noah, add it to his card.
yeah.
Noah's not even here.
He'll do it again. He'll do it for us at some point.
All right. Good show, guys. That was fun.